Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am so happy to be with you. This is our second Tuesday and our second week. Would you believe it? Thank you so much for joining me again for our Supreme Self Development and Awareness Program. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I am Lydia, and I will be with you every Tuesday evening, and together we're going to explore the topic of anger management. Now, for the next few weeks, our mission is to learn as much as we can about this emotion called anger and how we can detect it in you, in me, and in others as well. We want to become experts at managing and expressing our anger in helpful ways. So we can also be great examples to those around us, and maybe we can give them a little tips on how to manage their anger too as well. Now, I hope that you have all your tools ready. Remember your pen, your pencils, your crayons, your markers, your notebooks. If you're using their devices, you can use them too. But remember, please get permission. Now, there's one thing I want you to get for this evening's program. I need you to go get a mirror. Go get a mirror quickly because I want you to be able to participate in our activities this evening. So I'm just going to give you about 10 seconds to go get those items if you don't have those items. And of course, I'm going to give you that countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I hope you're back by now. I want to give a really special welcome to those of us who are joining me here on Zoom. I am looking forward to your participation this evening. I want you to remember as well, if you have any questions about anger management, please send them in because I want to hear from you. You can email them to Supreme. You can put them in our social media pages. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, and there's Facebook. Drop those questions there, and I want to answer them with you. So at the end of each program, if you have any questions, I'm going to take those few minutes to look at those questions and answer them for you. Now I'm ready to get started. Are you ready? Well, let's go. Well, you know I love to check in with you. I love to see how you are doing. So, my question is, how are you? How was your week? I know we have some persons here in Zoom. So, guys, how are you? Anybody wants to answer and let me know how you are? I didn't hear you.
Good.
Go ahead.
Good.
You're good. How was your week? You had a wonderful week so far? All right. Excellent. Now, last week we talked about emotions. So for our checking activity, I want you to do something for me. Are you ready? I want you to think about an emotion. Think about it. Any emotion. Do you have that emotion in your mind?
Happy.
I want you to think about it. Now, I want you to make the face of that emotion. Make the face of that emotion. So think about the emotion, make the face of the emotion. Now I want you to take your mirror and I want you to look at yourself. Look at yourself expressing that emotion. Oh, your emotion is happy? Wonderful. How does your face look while you're happy? Do you have a broad smile on your face when you are happy?
Thank you.
Lots of us wear a broad smile on our face when we are happy. Now, why I wanted you to do this activity is that sometimes we don't even know how we look when we express our emotions. So now that you have that emotion in your mind and you've expressed that emotion on your face, Now I want you to think about a situation that may cause you to feel that emotion. Someone in Zoom said that they are thinking about happy and that they may have a smile on their face. Can you think about what makes you happy? What situation makes you happy? Can you think about it?
Playing
Do
games.
you know what's it? Playing games. Oh, wonderful. So,
Yeah,
playing
playing games.
games,
I feel happy.
playing games makes you feel happy. Wonderful. Now, when we think about emotions, when we look at ourselves as we are expressing those emotions and we think about those situations, it helps us to become self aware. Yes, it means that we learn more about our emotions, we learn more about ourselves, and it helps us to become emotionally intelligent. And if you want to know more about emotional intelligence, join Tanya on Thursday evenings. Now, last week, we said, and I want to thank you so much for participating. I would love to see more of you. So even those of you who would have participated in the activity, if you want to put your answers on our social media page, you can feel free to do that. Last week, we said that, we'll be adding a bit more information bit by bit as we learn more about anger and anger management. And as we add more, I think it would be a really good idea for us to make sure we review and we recap what we would have learned last week. So today's review will be in the form of a fill in the blanks activity. And I know some of you may not have been here last week, but that's okay. I still want you to try it. And we're going to work through this activity together. So you're going to see it on the screen soon. You're going to see some spaces there. And I want you to think, now what word could probably complete that sentence? All the answers are in the video from last week. And the good thing about those videos is that they are there on our Instagram and our Facebook and our YouTube page that you can go back and you can look at them another time. There are happy ways of showing. Let's see if that one is the answer. They are, you said happy. We're going to see if that's the answer. So you note down happy for your first one, right? Happy at the top there. Let's go to the next one. You can do things to blank how you feel and how others feel. What word do you think is missing there? Can you guess? If you're watching on our social media pages, you can put the answer there as well. Let's keep going. An emotion is a blank and blank response to a situation or a stimulus. I wonder what those two words are. Any of our friends in Zoom, do you want to give a guess? Do you want to make a guess? An emotion is a blank and blank response to a situation or a stimulus. Don't worry, we'll find them out together. Next one. We can use blank to communicate how we feel and how others feel. If you think you know the answer, write it down on your paper quickly because we're going to be revealing the answers soon. Next one. Blank emotions make us feel pleasant and good. What type of emotions make us feel pleasant and good? All right. Are you ready for the answers? Let's see what those answers are. Now you can check to see if you got any of those correct. And I'm sure you did because I know that you're working really hard. So there are different ways of showing emotions. And you can do things to change how you feel and how others feel. This one, an emotion is a mind and body response to a situation or a stimulus. I hope that you are writing down the answers if you may not have gotten them correctly. Let's keep going. We can use emotions to communicate how we feel and how others feel. Last one. Comfortable emotions make us feel pleasant and good. I think that was a really good recap. And I know that you would have been working really hard to try to remember those answers. So let's keep going. We're going to continue our review just for 2 more minutes. And this one is really, really important. I want you to remember everyone has emotions and feelings, and it is okay to have any emotion at all. All right. Now, anger, last week we learned that anger is an emotion. And to understand anger, we need to understand how emotions work. We learned that it was a mind and a body response to a situation or stimulus, and that our emotions influence our behavior and our thoughts. We also explored why do we have emotions. We learned that it gives us information about the situations that we are in. It helps us to understand ourselves and helps us to make decisions, and it also motivates us. We learned that there were 8 basic emotions. Can anybody remember what those 8 emotions were? Or at least some of them? Surprise, yes, wonderful. There was anger, there was guilt and shame, and even fear. We also learned that there are comfortable and uncomfortable emotions. We can put them in 2 categories. Comfortable emotions make us feel pleasant and good, while uncomfortable emotions, we don't really want to feel those emotions, but we learned that they are important for us. Remember, our videos from the previous weeks are there so that you can review and that you can recap so that you can keep learning more and more about anger. So let's get right into what we're going to cover for this evening. Now we're going to have a chat. We're going to explore our thoughts. Yes, our thoughts, yours and mine, on anger. And how we're going to do this is that we're going to explore 3 questions. We're going to look at what is anger, why does anger occur, and do you think anger is an emotion that can be controlled? Do you think it can be controlled? I want somebody in Zoom to answer me. Do you think that anger can be
Yes, ma'am.
controlled? Yes,
Yes,
ma'am?
ma'am.
All right, wonderful. We're going to see the answer to those questions together. Don't go as yet. I have another question for you. Can you tell me what you think anger is? What is anger?
A
I
person
think you can do it.
that is angry.
A, a person that's angry. Okay, you're on the right track. You're doing well. Anything else? Anybody else wants to try? What is anger? Remember, if you are on Facebook, you can put your answer there too as well. So let's answer that question. Anger is a normal emotion and it is very powerful sometimes. Now you see, it has a wide range of intensity. And what that means is that it can start from a little bit of anger, where we may just feel a little bit bothered, and it can go way up to being furious, or some may even say rage. Anger is also a reaction to a perceived threat to us, our loved ones, our property, and even our self-image. And I know you're asking me a perceived threat. Lydia, what is a perceived threat? Now, this means is that we think that that thing or that person will bring harm to us. So when we think of something as a threat, it means that we think that, you know what, this thing or this person can probably hurt me or harm me in some way. So anger is usually a response to that feeling. And we can feel sometimes that the threat may be toward us. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Now, you may be talking to someone and all of a sudden they walk directly toward you and they begin to shout in your face. If that happened to you, what would you do? How would you feel? Anybody wants to answer?
Sad.
Somebody walks right up to you and they shout in your face. How is that going to make you feel? Go ahead, I'm
I
listening.
will feel sad.
You will feel sad. Anybody else? Would you think that maybe they may want to hurt you or they may go to hurt you next? Do you think that? Well, I may think so.
Yeah.
That if they're coming if they're coming close to me, that maybe they may go to hit me next. And that may cause me to feel scared and potentially angry too as well. So a threat to us. Now let's look at a threat to your loved ones. And your loved ones are usually who? Who do you love? Your family, your parents, your friends, your aunties, those persons who you care for. And sometimes people may threaten our loved ones. And we hear about this a lot at school when somebody may say something mean about your family members. And that usually makes persons angry. It makes me angry. Or it could be a threat to your property. And your property is something that you own. So it could be your device. Or I know sometimes at school, we have our school bags, we have our books and our lovely pencil cases, and then somebody may throw a floor and dirty it all up, and that makes us angry. So when persons threaten to harm or destroy our property, those will make us angry. Now let's keep going. So far, we looked at your threat to yourself, threat to those that you love, your property, and this one also makes us angry sometimes. When persons threaten our self-image, who we think we are. And usually sometimes that can come in the form of a lie. When somebody tells lies on you, you know what? That's definitely not true. That's not me. I wouldn't do that. And that can make you angry. So remember, anger is a natural human emotion. And everyone at some point in time becomes angry because we may feel threatened or we may feel insulted or even disrespected. Now, the thing about anger, it's like an instinct that happens in the situation. And it happens really quickly in our brains and in our bodies. And sometimes we don't even realize that we are getting angry. Now I have another activity for you to do. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. Now our next activity is that I want you to think about as many words as you can for anger, for angry. And I want you to, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to do it. And those of you who are in Zoom, you can share those answers. So I want to hear you. When people are angry, they usually say what? What words do they usually use to describe their anger? I'm going to give you an example. Some people may say, I'm real vexed.
Right.
What are some things? Right. Vexed, what else? What are some of those other words that people use to say that they are angry? Any others that you can think of? You can drop them in the chat if you want to. How about mad?
Upset.
People usually say that they're
Upset.
right. Wonderful. Excellent. That's really good. Keep going. Any other words come to mind? What words do people use normally when they are angry?
Annoyed.
Annoyed. That's a lovely one. Wonderful. Keep going. Any others? How about furious? You ever heard somebody say that they were furious?
Yes,
Yeah, I have. Wonderful. So let's see some of those words come up. These are some of the words that people use to express that they are angry. Let's look at the screen. Some people may say they're bitter. They're so outraged. You know what? I am disturbed. This just disturbed me. I am annoyed, like you said. Some persons may say, I am very, very irritated. Now, it's really good to think about these words. and to remember those words. Why? Because it helps not only to build your vocabulary, but it helps you to be able to communicate your feelings much better. Do you remember at the beginning we talked about the anger scale? That you may feel a little bit angry and it can go way up to the top where you may feel furious. So if you may just be feeling a little bit angry, you may be able to say, you know what, I saw that word. I'm just a little bit bothered or a little irritated. And if you're really angry, you may be able to say, you know what, I am just enraged and furious. So you did a really good job. Thanks so much for participating, and I hope that you're making those notes as well. So let's go to question 2. Why does anger occur? Why do you think we get angry? Why is anger present? Is there a reason for anger being there? I remember last week we said emotion, gives us information. So anger also gives us information. It is usually like a warning bell. You know, when we think about somebody giving us a warning, it tells us that what? If somebody's giving you a warning, it may tell you that something is about to happen, to be careful. So anger is like a warning. So that's why we experience that emotion. It's a warning to us, telling us that, you know what, something is not right here. We need to do something to fix this situation. Now, it may also occur as a result of pain and sadness to us. Like I said earlier, it gives us information on present situations and past situations. Have you ever thought about something that happened to you like 3 weeks ago and all of a sudden you start to feel angry again? Has that ever happened to you when you remember that this person, may have hurt you or this situation happened and you still feel a little bit angry? That's emotion there. That's information that tells us that, you know what, that situation may still be bothering us and that we need to do something about it. And finally, anger is there to help us to fight problems. And remember, when I use the word fight, it's not physical fight, but it helps us to be able, it pushes us to solve problems. And I'm going to give you an example. Being bullied is really not a nice thing at all. And persons who are bullied, how do you think they feel if they are bullied? Does anybody want to answer? When somebody is bullied or they're hurt, how do you think it makes them feel? They could feel sad.
Angry.
Angry, yes, they could feel angry. And because you feel angry that you're okay, because you feel angry that somebody is, bullying you, it can push you to, you know what? I need to get this problem solved. And it may push me to become assertive. It may cause me to stand up to the bully and say, you know what? No, what you're doing isn't right. It isn't fair. And it may also cause me to go find some person who's in authority and tell them, you know what? This situation is happening to me so that they can work together with you to help you solve those challenges. So remember, anger is like a warning bell. It tells us, you know what? Something is not right here. Something is wrong. It gives us that information and it helps us to be able to fight problems. It helps us to be able to stand up, especially stand up for ourselves and be assertive. Now let's go to question number 3. What are some of the ways that you see people displaying anger? And this is a question that I want you to answer me. I know we see persons all around in our society, even on social media, expressing anger. When people get angry, what are some of the things that they do? I want to hear from you. Tell me, when people get angry, what do they do? When you get angry, what do you do? Some people may stomp. Some people may stomp off. Some people may cry. What else? What else have you seen other people do when they get angry? Or what do you do? Some people may shout
Yeah.
and
Shoot,
scream.
say.
Pardon? Can you repeat it? I didn't hear you clearly.
Shoot, say.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's a good one. Some people may shoot. Any others? Some people may want to fight also. Yeah? Slap, kick, cuff, bite. Any others that you see people doing when they're angry? Those were some really, really, really good answers. So let's see. What are other ways that people display their anger? And there are lots and lots and lots of ways. These are not all of them, but some people may call other people names. I'm sure you've heard that before. Slam doors or even throw objects. Some people may make threats at other people as well. And like I say, they may be huffing and puffing. And some people hurt themselves sometimes when they're angry. You may find some persons may hit themselves, they may punch themselves. So a lot of the words that we see here listed and that you would have shared sometimes may not necessarily be the best ways or the healthiest ways to deal with anger. Because you see, in our society today, and especially on social media, even in the movies that we watch, even sometimes with our families and our friends, we see a lot of persons who may be expressing their anger in ways that may not be the best, that may hurt themselves or even hurt others. So I have a question for you. Do you think, and this is the question I asked earlier up, do you think anger is an emotion that can be controlled? And I think somebody answered me. Can you remind me what your answer was? Do you think we can control anger if it can be
Yes,
so
please.
intense? I'm hearing two yeses.
Yes,
Anybody else think
please.
that we?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. All right, I'm hearing those yeses. And I love that you believe that anger can be controlled. Now I want to give you an example. I want to give you a story that tells us the most important thing in being able to control our anger. Now I have a story of a boy named Jesse. Anybody's name is Jesse? I don't think so. Now Jesse was so excited to finally visit Disney World. Now he had dreamed about it for the whole school year. And the day was finally here. And as they were getting ready to leave, his mom, his dad, his sister, and his brother, his dad said, "Now, children, we are going to be with a lot of people, so I need you to stay close to each other. But if you get lost, this is what I want you to do." Are you guys listening? He gave them four things. One, I want you to take a deep breath. Two, I want you to stay where you are and don't move. Three, I want you to look around for any police or anyone that's in authority. And four, I want you to keep in mind the name of your parents, where you live, and our numbers. And Jesse was trying to remember all the trips to Disney World, Do I remember where I live? Yes. Do I know my mommy and my daddy's number? Yes. And Jesse started to repeat those over and over and over. Now, Jesse was having so much fun, and there were so many colorful and intriguing things to see, the toys, the rides, and everything. And he didn't realize that he was so distracted that he was left alone. Can you guess what happened to Jesse? What happened to Jesse when he was distracted? Anybody want to tell me what happened to Jesse after he was distracted? He wasn't paying much attention. Jesse became lost. Yep, Jesse became lost. He started to feel really scared and his heart was pounding. Oh my goodness, I am lost. But then Jesse remembered his plan that his father gave to him. And Jesse followed that plan. And do you know what happened? Jesse was found and he was returned safe to his family. Now, in that story, a situation occurred. What was that situation? If you can see the screen, you can see it. Jesse was lost. And how did Jesse feel when he was lost? Jesse began to feel scared. But this is the most important.
Angry.
He could have felt angry too as well. Yes, he could have felt angry as well. But then Jesse remembered his plan. And Jesse followed the plan. Jesse took a deep breath. Jesse did not move at all. Jesse looked around him for the police or anybody who was in authority, and he was able to tell them who his mommy is, who his daddy is, and how to get in contact with them. And what happened? Jesse was then reunited with his family. Now, this is the same thing with emotions, and especially this emotion called anger. To control our angry responses and to ensure we make the best choices, we must have a plan. We must be able to identify those steps and those tools that will take or make sure that we can take control of our anger. And most of the time, once we put that plan in place, just like Jesse put his plan in place, things will turn out all right. And do you know what? In the coming weeks, we plan to explore different strategies and different ways to manage anger so that we can create an anger management plan for you. So that when a situation comes up and you begin to feel that emotion called anger, you can put that plan in place so that we can have a really good, a helpful result for your situation. Now, as we begin to wrap up our session for today, there's just one very important step that we should take on our journey of exploring anger. And we need to take a good look at ourselves and examine how we handle anger. Now, earlier up, we looked at those ways that we see people managing anger, what they normally do when they manage anger. But do you know what you do when you manage anger? Now, at the beginning, I asked you to use your mirror so that you can see your facial expression when you thought of that emotion. But using a mirror will not give us all the information that we need to see how we manage anger. Now, as a psychologist, I use something called an assessment. It's something like a little quiz, and it helps us to be able to understand. It helps me, and it helps you to be able to understand if you may need a little bit of help or if you may need a whole lot more help managing your anger. It's always good to know, what areas that I can improve on so together we can identify the activities to be able to help you. So I'm going to bring that up on the screen and I want you to do it with me. I want you to answer these questions. You don't have to say it out aloud. You can jot it down on your notebook, but I want you to answer these questions. And parents, if you are there present at this time, this is also an activity that you guys can do together and you can sit and both of you can share your answers and you can chat. Remember, with this activity, you're writing true or false to each question. There's no right and there's no wrong to any answers. I just want you to answer those questions honestly on your note paper. Okay? So the first statement says, I feel angry a lot. Is that statement true of you or is it false? I want you to write true or I want you to write false. Let's go to the next one. People often tell me I need to calm down. Do people tell you a lot that you need to calm down? All right, calm down, calm down, calm down. Is this true of you? Is it false? Do you get angry really quickly? Do you get angry quickly? Something happens or somebody touches your shoulder and you quickly go right up the scale to rage or furious. Is that true of you? Is it false? And when you become angry, do you stay angry for a very long time? I want you to think about it. When I become angry, am I still angry hours after? Am I still angry days after? When I think about the situation a month after, am I still angry? Is that true of me or is that false? Now, I get into a lot of fights and arguments. I want you to think back. Is this true? Is this false? Let's go to the next one. I get very upset when things don't go my way. Is this true? Is this false? If something happens that I don't like, it's not how I want it to be, I get upset quickly. Next one says, when I feel wrong, I want revenge. I want to get back at the person. When I feel like somebody do me wrong, I want to get back at them quickly. And the last one says, little things seem to annoy me a lot. Little things seem to annoy me a lot. Is that a true statement for you? Is that false for you? I'm just going to give you a few more seconds just to look it over and make sure you answer these questions. Remember, there's no right or wrong answers. You're just answering them honestly because it's important for us to know, do I need a little bit of help with my anger? Do I need a whole lot of help with my anger? So that we can make sure we put the correct plan in place and the best plan in place to help you to be able to manage your anger. Remember, everyone gets angry at some point in time. Now I know it's not easy to say if you get angry or if you get angry a lot. So I really want to thank you for answering those questions. I think that you were really, really, really brave. Remember though, we all have the right to feel angry, but it's our responsibility to manage our anger and to express our anger without hurting ourselves or others. So yes, the answer to our final question is anger can be controlled. And what's our plan for the next few weeks? We plan to work together to create that plan for you and that plan for me so that we can make sure that we are making the best choices and we have healthy responses to our anger. So we've come to the end of another session in our anger management series. I want to thank you for tuning in again this week, and I am looking forward to seeing you. Those of you who are in Zoom, I am looking forward to seeing you next week. All of you who are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, where we're going to be looking at anger buttons. Don't push my buttons. No, I keep encouraging you to watch the videos over and over. It's really good that those videos are there so that you can look back and see what we would have covered in the weeks before. So as we keep going forward and forward, you can become those experts that I know you can be as we seek to work through our anger. Now this week I want to leave a little activity with you. I want you to write your anger story. What's the anger story? I want you to think about those situations that may make you feel angry. And I want you to write that story. If you don't want to write, you can draw the story as well. I want you to write some emotions. I want you to write some faces. I want you to use those colors that you think represent anger as you write your anger stories. And don't forget, I'm looking forward to seeing your answers. I'm looking forward to seeing those stories. So if you want to email them to us, you can send them to Supreme. And I know that they will get to me because I love to see what you would have been doing during the week. So, thank you so much, guys, for joining me this evening. And I encourage you to tune in tomorrow with Shade as she is going to be discussing conflict resolution. So have a wonderful evening, guys. Have a wonderful remainder of the week, and bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.